Okay, let's comment this code, and starting from the beginning, we imported sys, pygame, and glob modules. Then we initialized the game with pygame.init, and then we created the main surface where everything is splitted, and it's called screen, and is created by with pygame.display.setMode, and with the tuple with the width and height of the screen, that it's 400 for 600 here. As you can see now, let's go in the while loop here, where everything runs for an indefinite time until we press this key button, X button here, or we press escape, because what we have done, we have this while loop is equal 1, so until loop is 1 it will go on. If loop is 0 like this, it will go out of the loop and will go to pygame quit, so the window will close correctly, and we can also put a sys exit here to close also the interpreter. So when the while loop starts, it will, first of all, every frame will be colored in this sort of greenish color, and then we'll try to capture the user interaction. That can be pygame quit here if so for event in pygame.event.get, this pygame event.get gives the list of what the user did with the keyboard or pressing the mouse button. So if we quit the button here, if we press this X button here, it corresponds to this pygame.quit. So if event.type, so if one of the event in this list is a type of event that is pygame.quit, the loop will be interrupted, because the loop will be 0, and so while loop will be false, and so it will go out of the while loop and go to pygame quit and exit. Same thing if the event type is a key down. If you press a button, if one of the key, if event.key is a pygame escape, that is the escape button on the keyboard, the loop will be go to 0, this will be false, and so will go out and exit. And then we have what happens if we press the key right, pygame key right, that is the arrow key, right arrow key. Then there is the left arrow key, the up arrow key, and the down arrow key. This cat x will be plus equal 10. What is this cat x? It's the coordinates of our cat, because when we create this instance cat here, where we call the cat class with 100 and 100, we will go inside of this, we'll start definite class here, and the x and y are the arguments. This is 100 and 100, and will be stored as self x, i.e. cat x equal 100 and cat x equal 100. So when we start, the cat will be at 100 100 here. Then we will need some this is a list of images that we'll use for the animation. So we will load in this list all the images that are in this folder and start with idle. And so we will use glob.glob that do the job, because it's gonna take everything in this folder starting with idle and memorize it into a list, and then we are going to take every file in this list and load it with pygame.image.loadf, that is the name of these files in this list that are into here in this cat folder, and it's they are all these images here that starts with idle, that makes the animation. So we will load every f for f in this list will be loaded unlike a surface at the end, with this list comprehension here, that is a for loop in a Pythonic way made, and we will have a list of surfaces. Each of these surfaces will have a different image that will make the animation. So to count which is the image of this list, we use self counter. the actual image that is showed on the screen is this one, self image. That is, we start with the first one, so of the list, that is image list 0, because the list starts with 0. And then we have the direction where the cat is looking at, that is right. Now this just tells where what is the first image and where the cat starts staying. So to move it, we need to change the self x and self y. We need to update it to see what is the position on self x and self y, and to bleed the image to the new position. But you don't change the self x and self y here, but you change it here when we press the key. So if you press the key right, cat x, that is the horizontal axis, will be incremented of 10. So if it was here, for example, here, if this is x plus 10 is here, and then plus 10 every time I press x, the right arrow, it goes a plus 10 on the x. If I press the left, it's the opposite. If I press down, it's on the vertical axis, I add 10. If I go up, I subtract 10 on the vertical axis too. And the vertical axis is cat y. So cat x and cat y are then updated here. So in the update function, the position will be updated to the new self x and self y, and the cat will be bleated at the new self position. So that's how it works, this cat update. It calls a function and gives it the new position for the fact that I have pressed one of these keys and the x or y has changed. And then the display will be updated, and then the clock also will be fixed to 60 frames for seconds. So as you can see here, one problem is that you don't see any animation. So how can we do the animation? We got to change the self image here. How can we change it? We must put a counter here. So self counter, for example, y plus equal 1, and we will use this instead of putting here self image, we can put here self image. We're gonna update the image like being self images list, and we're gonna take one of this image, and we started with 0. Now we should start with 1, but we want to increment it every time we call the update, every frame. And so we gotta put here the self counter that increments. Now, to avoid that we go out of the list, because when it will be a number that's bigger than 10, for example, if 10 are the images of the animation, we gotta do something. If self counter it's more than the len of the self images list, so if it goes further, then the number of images that are in the list, self counter must be equal to 0, so that it will go back to the initial position. So maybe it works. No, it goes out of range, so I have to do it's more, instead of more than, I say equals to this. Let's start again and see. Okay, that's it. You see there is a strange animation. That is, don't have to worry, it's everything okay, but I just have to exclude the first image of the list because that the first image is a little bit strange here. And so to do so, I'm gonna take the image number 1 here, and I want to start from 1. Okay, now I excluded the first one, but it's a problem of mine because I changed the first image. I made it smaller than the other, so that was why you saw that. But in other if you don't have this problem. If you probably you don't have to do this. Okay, you just start from zero. Or I could at least do something like even simpler, like deleting it, because so I just can delete this one. Nothing will change in the animation, because maybe these are even, you see here it's different. I change it now, I just delete it, nothing will change, and so I can bring back this one to 0. Okay, and it will be okay. It will be okay. The only thing that is not okay is goes too fast. So how can I do it? Instead of going 1, the counter 1, I can go 1 or 0.1. But if I go if I do this, I will probably see an error, because you see there is an error, because the list index must be an integer and not a float. So when I see self counter here like index, it can be a float. So what this doesn't work, but I can do something. I can do int, transform it into an integer, and you will see, but this will also bring always to 0 and then to 1 when it becomes 1.0 or 1.1. Yes, that is what I wanted, because now it's very slow, and but I can, if I want to make it go a little faster, I can go here and put, for example, 4. I'm going out of range. Um, okay, and so now you see that is moving slowly, so because it will not change until it goes to 1 to 2. So in the when it is 1.2 1.3, it will stay the same with the same image, and so it will appear to be slower. Now we want to um, make another thing. We want to make that when we go on the left, it looks on the left. What can we do? We can do this if cat dir, because you have seen it's equal right, it will do so. Instead, because you've seen here that when I press this is cat is right, when I press left, cat there is left, so it can use that to see where the cat is looking at. If it's left, I'm gonna use this, but I'm gonna make this one to transform it with pygame dot transform dot flip. So I'm gonna use this function to flip it, and after I put the image here, I am gonna do here true and false, because I wanna flip it on the just on horizontally. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it works. Now every time that I press left, it flips on the left, and it turns back to normal when I do press right. Okay, that is all for the moment, and see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.